Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is the YouTube Artist Collective piece, and I know I always say this, but I love working on these. I love working with a bunch of artists on the same concept and being able to really figure out how to make that initial theme into my own style and something that I find really exciting. So I can't wait to talk a little bit more about this piece, but as always, I do have a link to all of the official members as well as our guest members down in the description who are creating videos and pieces of artwork all based on the same theme. So if you'd like to check them out, I highly recommend it. It's really fun to go and binge watch all of them and see what all the different artistic takes are. And if you don't know much about the YouTube Artist Collective, we do have a Facebook group, and I will try to actually remember to link it down in the description. I always forget, but you can head over there, and that's where we vote on the next theme and everything. Those are actually all created by you guys, and you get to vote on the themes that we do create. So in the future, if you'd like to take part in choosing what is being drawn by everyone, that's a great place to go and help out with that. But this time, the theme is actually World in a Bottle. And I will say right off the bat, I got a little bit off theme on this one, just a touch. I had to go with the concept that I was really feeling invested and tied in, and I let my imagination and my own inspiration take me a little bit farther from the theme, but in the end, I'm really happy with the piece. I loved working on it, so for the fact that it's not quite as on theme as it could have been, I do apologize, but ultimately, hopefully you'll forgive me because I do really like this piece. But let's go ahead and get talking about it, some of the things that I thought about while I was creating it, and basically everything about the creation of this piece. So when I was first working on thumbnailing for this concept, I wasn't really hitting my stride for a while there. I wasn't really sure which ones I liked, and I was not feeling at all excited about any of them at that point. I had one that seemed like it would be okay, and I took a little break from it. When I came back, I knew it wasn't right. You know, when you feel like something that even though it seems like it's good enough, it just doesn't sit with you. It's not something that's inspiring. And I've been trying really hard lately to focus on making sure that the pieces I create are things that I'm interested in and excited about. And if I don't feel excited, then I need to keep working and keep thinking on it, as obvious as that might sound. But this was one of those cases where I could have settled sooner, but I just wasn't 100% feeling it. So I kept sketching and working out ideas, and ultimately I tried to push myself into thinking more about the story behind it and then a piece that could go around that and how I could make that happen. So this one, I kind of like that there could be multiple interpretations of what's happening and people could make up their own story about that, but I do have a bit of a story behind it. It's very simple, but I wanted to create a piece where these people created this almost sentient creature or a potion that almost had a life of its own. And she was so dangerous simply from the fact that she was mesmerizing these people and they weren't able to disconnect from watching her and being entertained by her. And ultimately that just ended up being the death of all of them. And I liked that concept. I liked the idea. I liked the look that I could go with it of being able to push a background that was a little bit more morbid and creepy and have the focal point of the piece to be very colorful and bright. And I love that. I love creating duality in pieces and going so that they really pop off of each other. And this piece, once I knew the concept and I had it sketched out, it really came pretty instantly as far as the color scheme for me, which was really nice because it seems like, especially for my YouTube Artist Collective pieces, I always seem to really struggle with the color palettes. Even when I think that I know what I'm going to do, somehow I always end up really fighting it, and I have to spend a lot more time figuring it out than I think that I was going to, but this one just came to me. I had seen a lot of other pieces where they have a very gray background, and I love these contrasts of grays and colors. So I knew for the background I wanted to line art it in black and then only paint it with grays. And I used ivory black, I believe. It's a watercolor, and I used that for everything in the background. That way it was very monochromatic. It actually is a pretty neutral paint too, so it wasn't too cool or too warm. And it was actually really fun. It gave me a lot of memories of Inktober and working with ink washes, which is something that I absolutely love doing. So I really enjoyed being able to work on the background and only focus on the values. And while I was sketching this out and specifically working in the background with these 3 skulls, it was very important that it was balanced and that it kept the eye moving throughout it compositionally. I originally had, instead of the skull down in the bottom, I had a jawbone, which it really was kind of cutting it off. It was leading the eye off rather than bringing it back in. So instead of having that, I replaced it with an overlapping skull that faces back into the piece. And it helps keep the eye, again, rotating within it. It doesn't get lost and lose its place, which is something that you have to really think about, is where is the eye being directed? And sometimes with paintings, you can accidentally make the eye comfortably shift right off the page and not really have a hook that brings it back in. I also needed to find a way to counterbalance the bottle since it's tipping over to the side quite a bit. I ended up deciding to put this smoke coming out of it so that it adds weight shifting back into the painting. If I didn't have that, which originally I didn't, it felt really lopsided visually, and that actually is surprisingly uncomfortable. It's interesting how much of an impact just a piece can have, how it can feel unbalanced, even though there really is no real balance to it. But adding that smoke and having that skull all lead back into it and create this more circular composition, it really did help it read a lot better. And I think painting that smoke that's coming out of the bottle was my favorite part to paint on this painting. There was something really fun about matching to a certain degree the values behind it, but only in blue. I love the effect that it had, and I loved being able to go in there and add these broken up sections of value. I'm not sure how quite to describe it, but with the brushstrokes where it was beginning to transition from the background to the skull and then the skull back into this sand background. I just really had a lot of fun pushing that so that it had a little bit more texture to the smoke, but only where it seemed to have a visual difference. So I think that it helped so that it wasn't completely textured. It still felt a little bit glossier and smooth, but because of that, it almost felt like it was refracting the light like water might. And there was one part in the line work that I was really unhappy with just because I got really lazy and quick about it. It's the neck of the bottle, where it needed to be very mapped out and geometric since it is a specific shape and it's made in metal. But again, I got a little lazy, so I made that not so sharp the way that I actually drew it. So that was something that in the line work phase, I was looking at a few options to cover it up, but from the recommendation of Lee, I decided to go ahead and work through that, not on the line work phase, but in the painting phase, which I am much happier with. When I was first thinking of options to fix it, it was by covering it up with some pretty drastic, say, black ribbon. That was one of the options, or something that would really change the way that the piece would flow. So once I was working on it with the watercolors, I was able to obscure a lot of the issues that I had with the line work. That's one of the times that I'm happy with being able to cover up the line work, because that's the thing with these colored lines, is that you can only go so dark before the contrast is lost. But that came in handy where I could, again, make those errors recede, and it does look a lot more like it was just weathered and worn down, and that had the look that I want without completely changing the way that it read. So I was really happy with my overall outcome of covering up that mistake. And then when I finally got to painting the bottle, that was actually the part that I was the most nervous about, because when I was doing my color comps, it's a lot easier to get very expressive and interesting looking colors when it is a very small little piece. But when it comes down to actually creating layers that have the effect that I want, it's a little bit more strategic than that. And I usually try to be more thought out with my color comps so that I know my plan of attack. But for this one, I was a lot more quick and expressive with it, and it got my idea of where the colors would be down, but it didn't really get how I was going to get there down, especially since she's inside of a bottle. I wanted there to be a certain cast of the color of the bottle itself on her. But since I wanted the bottle to be a bit of like sea glass, so a look of green to it, I didn't want it to completely desaturate the areas where I had really warm colors like her blush and on her elbows. So I had to be very precise on how I was going to attack this so that it would keep the colors as saturated as I wanted them to be, but also still have that look that she's inside this bottle. I ended up doing it basically in 3 layers. I painted her entirely, and then I painted basically the back wall of the bottle itself, and then I started doing some very carefully placed layers of glaze over both the bottle that I had painted already and her. That way I could localize the bottle color that's overlapping her mostly to the right side of the bottle, where there would be basically it's in shadow, and then I had it as light as possible on the left side of it, so that was left a little bit more to the natural color that she was. But that, I think, ended up okay. I was actually surprised at how nervous I was, but I was okay with where it ended up. I think that that's something that I would love to do more of. I love working with see-through materials in watercolors. That's one of the beautiful things about watercolors, is that you can layer them to create these really gorgeous looks. But I am really happy with this piece, actually. It was really fun to be able to work with such contrasting looks within the same piece. And this painting is actually available as a limited edition print. There's only going to be 25 of them available. There is a link down in the description that'll take you to my art shop, and these will all be hand embellished with interference paint, which has this really beautiful multicolor sheen to it. They'll all be hand numbered, and I am really excited to be able to offer something that's a little bit special and has more of a hand quality to it. But that is about it for today. I do have the original painting available as well. There's a link in the description that'll take you to my art shop for both of those. There's also a link to my Patreon, as well as all the other social media that I'm available on. And I think that's probably about it. I do have a link to all the tools that I used to create this painting down there as well. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be on Wednesday next week. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then.